Hey travelers, Mag and FlCrafters here, ready to hit the trails again. But before we do that, because FlCrafters been on leave for the last few weeks and is a bit rusty with geocaching, we're gonna take it a little bit easier today. We are here in the middle of downtown Honolulu, right in front of the state capitol building. I love getting to show you guys state capitol buildings, and here we are. We've got maybe a mile and a half to walk the streets. We've got a handful of puzzles to do from the Aloha series, a couple of traditionals, some virtuals, and adventure labs. It won't take us very long, and we're gonna give you a quick tour of the area. So let's get out there together and see what downtown Honolulu has in store. Come on, let's go. Commissioned by John Burns, the second governor of Hawaii, the state capitol building in downtown Honolulu was opened on March 15th of 1969, replacing the former state house, the Iolani Palace. It has a very distinctive look when compared to the other capitol buildings across the United States, as it was designed to represent Hawaii's people, history, culture, and the Aloha spirit. Among other things, the Aloha spirit and Hawaiian culture embody openness. Openness to the sea, openness to the sky, open doorways, open arms, and open hearts. Unlike many of the other capitol buildings featured across the country, there is no dome or roof separating the vast inner courtyard from the heavens and the stars above. Instead, you can walk completely through the center and around the building, feeling like you're outside even when you're inside. On the east side of the capitol building, our starting place, the Eternal Flame burns. Built in 1944, precisely 3 years after the attack on Pearl Harbor, it burns endlessly in tribute to all of the men and women who have served in the Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marines, and Navy in all of the conflicts the United States have been involved in. This is a fairly simple design as U.S. Capitol buildings go. We have this mosaic right here behind us. Off to the side of the FlCrafters, we have the U.S. House of Representatives. Off on my side over here, just across the way, we have the Senate. And somehow it manages to catch the breeze just perfectly through here like a wind tunnel. So it's very cool and relaxing in here, right?
Yes.
I think we'll hang out for the rest of the day. What do you think?
Maybe hang up there.
Oh yeah, not to mention that, check out the upper heights here. It kind of tapers off toward the top, so it creates this very cool visual effect. One only needs to wander a few blocks north of the Capitol building to wander into Honolulu's Chinatown, one of the oldest Chinatowns to be found in the U.S. In the 1800s, many Chinese laborers relocated to Hawaii to work on sugar plantations. They began under contracts, but when those contracts expired, many of the workers decided to stay on and become merchants. And really, with the nice weather out here in Honolulu, who could blame them? Despite their long history in the area, most of the oldest buildings here only date back to 1901. Most of the original structures were burned down in 2 fires that took place near the end of the 19th century. The first of which, in 1886, was an accidental fire that swept through a majority of the structures, displacing more than 8,000 people. The second fire, however, that burned down the remaining original structures was set on purpose in 1900. At the time, Chinatown had been suffering a serious epidemic of the bubonic plague. In an aggressive effort to curb any further spread of the disease, any structure that had housed bubonic plague victims was ordered burned to the ground, making way for a new Chinatown to rise. We have one of our first caches in the downtown area, and FlCrafters is moving in on it. She's gonna have this any moment.
Oh! wrong whale. Oh, whale, wrong whale. Oh,
Do we have a winner?
we have a winner.
Look at that. Now, she's been out of the game for a few weeks here on leave and vacation, so she hasn't been quite in the geocaching mindset. But now that she's hanging out back with Mag Planner again, oh, we're gonna rock the geocaching scene.
Oh, yeah.
And this was a nice warm-up. As the capital of Hawaii, it should come as little surprise that Honolulu is the state's most populous city with nearly 350,000 residents. Many of the oldest buildings in the state can be found right here in the downtown Honolulu area, which is thought to have been continuously populated since as early as the 11th century. And with just a little bit of understanding of the lay of the land here in Oahu, this makes perfect sense. Located along the edge of the tropics, Hawaii has a subtropical climate without ever reaching the extremes. The trade winds force moisture to rise, creating rain on the windward side of the island, but a nice, cool breeze offsetting the humidity on this side. It's just an all-around nice place to be. This is kind of mind-blowing. If not for the sign right here letting us know about the Korean and Vietnam War memorials, we would have no idea because they are completely tucked in this little pocket. From the outside on the sidewalk, they look like just little stone walls, but from the inside, they're actually pretty great memorials. So let's go over there and check it out. The Korean and Vietnam War Memorial, that we darn near almost walked right past, was dedicated on July 24th of 1994. The design consists of two winding walls that form almost a mirror image of each other. Each wall rises to its height on terraced granite pedestals, one for each war. Engraved on each pedestal is the name of a Hawaiian veteran who died in one of the two conflicts. Rather than being listed alphabetically though, these names take a winding course through time, from the beginning of the war to the end. The sunken courtyard that houses both walls represents the descent into the anguish of war. For us, it was a reminder of the stories of these veterans who gave everything they had for their country, and yet can be nearly forgotten by the passage of time. That is exactly why I always make a point of stopping off at veterans memorials like this and walking through each of the names. It is our duty to remember what they have given and honor their sacrifices. But the design of the memorial is also intended to bring hope. Hope that like these pedestals, we will rise up from despair and maintain our freedoms. Finding geocaches in busy downtown areas is already enough fun, but finding magnetic nanos, oh, that can be a riot. FlCrafters took one side of the road, I took the other. We split our ground zeros, searched everything magnetic, and eventually came up with the prize we were seeking. Clearly I won this one. As you can see, she's on the other side of the street, which means she's probably going to locate the next one before I even get to ground zero. And there's no better way to put that theory to the test than by continuing our geocaching tour of Honolulu. This time past the Honolulu Hale. This beautiful building, flanked by adventure labs on each side, is the seat of government for the city and county. It includes both the chambers for the mayor of Honolulu and the Honolulu City Council. It came into existence from an idea proposed by the first mayor of Honolulu, Joseph James Firm, a beloved figure in the early political scene of Hawaii. I definitely called this one. I got distracted and wandered away, and by the time I actually made it to the ground zero, FlCrafters had in hand the prize we were seeking. Nicely done, FlCrafters. What kind of container do we have there? Classic. Nice hide. Those kind of caches are fairly waterproof. The logs tend to stay dry, particularly when they're in a baggie. And this means we are coming close to the end of our tour around the downtown area now. Hawaii was the last state to enter the Union on August 21st of 1959, but this state is no stranger to politics. Honolulu has experienced many ups and downs since it first entered the stage for U.S. politics, but in more recent history, you may recognize it as the birthplace of former President Barack Obama. In the downtown areas like this, they cheer for you when you find the geocaches because they're in plain sight and all the muggles can see you. So you really have to employ those stealth skills to make sure that cheering's actually for somebody else. Just around the corner from the Capitol building, we discover a World War II memorial that was dedicated on December 7th of 1944. Carved 1 inch deep into both sides of this 18-foot tall monument are the 880 names of Hawaiians who made the ultimate sacrifice. These birds are fearless. They don't want to fly away for anything. You can walk right up in the middle of them and they'll just kind of make a path around you, but for the most part, they're just going to hang out because right now, I'm in their territory, not the other way around. One of the most popular statues to visit in downtown Honolulu is that of King Kamehameha I. In 1810, he succeeded in uniting the islands into one royal kingdom, becoming the first ever King of Hawaii. Check this one out. You can see, not by much anymore, but you can see the geocaching logo still on the top of it. As soon as I saw that, I knew I was in the money. So let's see here. Pop this bad boy open, get a little twist. And what do we got? Uh-oh. Do you see it down there? Neither do I, but that's because it's actually in the cap. Made you look though, and that is, after all, the point of this video series, to encourage you to look at all the amazing places that geocaching brings us. Sometimes it might be a statue tucked away behind the buildings, and others it might be one facing down a busy road. But wherever the adventure leads, whether down a trail or through the streets of the city, there's always a surprise waiting just around the corner. I realize the name says Central Intermediate School, but anywhere else, I would swear to you that that is a county capitol building. Nevertheless, apparently it's just a place where kids go to school, maybe learn how to be in government, who knows. Covering the parking area for the King Kamehameha V Judiciary History Center, one could be forgiven for mistaking this for a small group of trees. However, it is one of my personal favorites, the banyan tree. It stretches out, guarding over more than a century's worth of history. We are particularly good at multitasking, which works very well as a team. Not only have we been balancing the where-I-goes, the geocaches, and the adventure labs, but just to add an extra layer of complexity, it's also raid hour now in Pokemon Go. So we've been trading off who's getting to do the battles while the other one actually leads the way toward the geocaches. Since I already finished these two on the corner, FlCrafters is knocking that thing out, and I'm leading the way and making sure she doesn't walk into the light poles, just like she did for me a few minutes ago. Thanks for that.
Like the banyan tree, we stretch back for more than a century when we visit the Hawaiian Mission Houses, established in 1920 by the Hawaiian Mission Children's Society. This historic site collects, preserves, and exhibits artifacts from Hawaii's missionary period, 1820 to 1863.
When you're offered good advice, take the good advice, no matter what form it takes. In this case, do not feed the chickens, no matter what the chickens say. And I'll tell you that from first-hand experience, because as soon as you feed the chickens, they start following you. And as soon as you attack one, they come after you just like they do in The Legend of Zelda, where they fly in from all directions. It's crazy, so don't feed the chickens.
In the middle of balancing out all the other distractions, FlCrafters and I continue to work our way through a series of Adventure Lab stages. These help to ensure we're getting the most out of the historical experience here.
And what do you suppose we have here? You should already know the answer, because these are geocaching videos after all. And what geocaching video would be complete without finding some geocaches? Look at that, another one bites the dust.
Outside of the Hawaii State Public Library stands a statue of Patsy Mink, sculpted by artist Holly Young and dedicated on December 6th of 2018. Throughout her political career, she continued to fight for civil rights, women's rights, and the integrity of the democratic process.
What do you guys think? Can we make the magic happen one more time? GZ says right here, Geosensors say. That is accurate, and that is it. One last find. We have now found all the geocaches we were seeking in this area.
Just on the opposite side of the Capitol building, we finish off our tour of the downtown Honolulu area with a trip to Iolani Palace. Built in 1882 by King Kalakaua, Iolani Palace served as the official royal residence until the overthrow of the monarchy in 1893. It holds the distinction of being the only official royal residence to be found anywhere within the United States. It quickly became a symbol of promise to the Kingdom of Hawaii, featuring the state's first electrical light systems, flushing toilets, and telephones. While I normally consider a trip to the Capitol building essential to any Capitol tour, in this case, Iolani Palace is also a must-do.
All right, that's it. Short and sweet, as promised. A nice little walking tour of the downtown area. We've gotten to see the Capitol building and the palace, from the outside at least, since it's a Sunday, and some of the other buildings around here. We found the geocaches we were looking for, had a pretty good walk.
Yes.
And we have stopped and finished our trip right back where we started, in front of this absolutely gorgeous Capitol building. I hope you guys have enjoyed this opportunity to see downtown Honolulu with us, and don't worry, with our next video and beyond, we will be back out there on the trails once again. But until then, make sure to like this video, subscribe, stay tuned for updates, and we'll see you out on the trail.